Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Welcome back to day 5 of ProBots. This is going to be, I think, the wackiest day possible because we have I would say, the most stacked bracket, and I've said it before, stacked bracket of all of ProBots history here with a fantastic bout of bots lined up to go to see who doesn't go to the scrap pile. They'll be fighting to their death or to stay online. Either which way, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm Drekken, your producer, and it has been an honor to be here. So why don't we bring in my co-caster, Endersword. Let's see if he shows up.
I did show him.
You did show up.
Here.
You're here.
Yeah.
Of course you are. You are now here. So yeah, it's me, Endersword, here casting. Unfortunately, Ketroc could not make it. He is ill, and so we send our condolences. I guess I don't know. Is condolences the correct word in this kind of instance?
He's not dead. He's not dead. He didn't die.
Our well wishes. We send our well wishes that he gets better. And absolutely. And sort of I would open my regular preamble if you're excited, but I know you're excited. So I don't even have to ask. I know you're excited. I feel
I am.
the same.
I think it'll be a good one.
I mean, they're always good ones,
Yeah.
but I think this particularly will be I don't know what to expect. Like, we'll get into the whole prediction stuff later, but let's do a little bit of house cleaning. First off, you there, you with your phone or on your computer, that like button, I hear it, click it, you know it. Help us out here. It's free.
It would help.
Yeah, it would help. You know, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and we're all robotic slaves to these algorithms, us included. So we got to make them happy. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Other than that, though, subscribe. And if you're not already subscribed and you want to see more of these bots, you know where to hit that button. And lastly, hit the exclamation mark join, or go to ProBotsAI.com, sign up. If you join up in there, you can be part of our membership. And what happens, you can get access to our post bots, which is at the end of the month, where we do like our show and tell, a demo day of what we're working on, and we also get together and talk. And Ketroc is there as well if he's not sick. And then on Mondays, I do our mob programming stream where you can join in and it's a easy gateway drug to bot coding. You don't have to start up your own bot. You can join me on a group project. So that's on Mondays. But with that out of the way, we get started here tonight. Why don't we introduce our format?
Why don't we?
That's because you're the best one.
Yeah. Well, we always introduce our format in the form of two rectangles. The rectangles have evolved slightly over time, but I think they become better and better rectangles each time. So on the left, we've got the group stage, which we are in the last phase of, which is 4 groups of 4 with a double elimination style. The best 2 get out of the group, and we are currently in the consolation match. So the winner of this will be the second bot out, and the other one will just go away. Then we move on to the single elimination playoff style bracket, where our quarterfinals will be a best of 3, semis a best of 5, and the finals a best of 7.
All right, that's the best format explanation that I've ever heard. Well, I guess that's a good segue to see what we have we got lined up today.
We got this stuff. So yeah, if you follow these slightly more confusing rectangles, that we've got the survivors of the losers match and the losers of the winners match playing in the consolation. So we've got Ketroc up against 12 Pool Bot, BenBotBC up against Boom Shakalaka or something. Bombshaker. We got Micro Machine up against MiniTestic P, that isn't really a P, but maybe an R. And then one of the most surprising, Aerys versus like a Gina.
Yeah. This is the weirdest losers bracket by far. I don't think I've ever seen. We have seen top heavy, like we've seen top bots go down to the losers bracket. Like Micro Machine is no stranger going down to the losers bracket at this stage. Like, it's not unusual, but like Aerys in the losers bracket, Micro Machine and Ketroc and BenBotBC, these are like top 4 bots, like easily. So it's unusual to see these bots in the losers bracket all together at the same time. I guess the best part is that they are not up against each other, which is a consolation. But to see these top bots, at least coming to have to fight for their life, and that makes it difficult for our newcomers. So 12 who bot, Clickia, Bombshaker, and MiniTestic R/P. They're going to be going up against probably, arguably, some tough competitors. So I don't know.
Very true.
What do we want? We do a little bit of predictions of how you feel in terms of Ketroc versus 12 Poobah. What are you feeling for that one?
Well, I think that Ketroc will win.
Wrong. We're gonna
no,
reverse it. You're not gonna go backwards.
no?
We're gonna start with Aerys versus
Okay.
Clickia. That's what we'll do. Just because.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, in this one, I think Aerys kind of just got really shocked by the Zozo rush. So I think Aerys is pretty much as strong as ever. I hope we get to see a good game out of Clickia, that Aerys tends to go slightly longer. It's not going to rush, but
Yeah.
I think Aerys pretty much, will win.
And then Ketroc versus Bombshaker.
What? BenBot versus
BenBot.
Yeah, BenBot versus
Bombshaker.
BenBot. Yeah. This one, again, I think BenBot kind of got out-BenBot by Xena to drop down, but I do think BenBot's got the stability in the late game. I think these could be a bit longer, but I think unless BenBot wins with bunker rushes, that may be quicker, because they faced each other in the first or the second week, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and BenBot is fairly strong in terms of his contain, and he, if it fails, he transitions really well out to his next phase. So I'm feeling fairly confident with a BenBot version. And okay, so I think our production is telling us to keep this moving along, because I didn't get to say our second prediction. That would be though, but we'll you know what? I'll defy their logic. That would be Micro Machine versus MiniTestic, and poor Micro Machine got a little bit of a I don't know what you'd call it. A little bit of a
brokenitis.
Yeah, brokenitis, a little bit of a snipe.
Yeah.
Micro Machine is always the victim of being too good, and also at the same time a little bit too predictable. Yeah. So I guess this actually comes down to something like, what Ketroc and some of the other bots, where they build their bots a little bit more unique. Obviously, Micro Machine isn't built on any particular framework, but there's a level, since he hasn't been updated, that becomes almost a weakness in many ways, right? Because the others are. I saw that Sharkbot had said that he had known about this exploit for a while, so it wasn't a new thing for him. It just coincided.
Yeah.
So that exploit of warping out his
recalling
the probes.
Yeah, that it ends up thinking it's still there, doesn't see it leave, so then never lowers the depot was the trick. But it was good. We found out that was kind of a temporary thing.
So he should be
that
fine.
Basically, it had to specifically happen that way. So it should be fine here.
Yeah, so Micro Machine will be in fighting form for these matches, because yes, they haven't been updated, but that was a very specific thing that he would have to go through.
Yeah.
And now about Ketroc versus 12 Poolbot. Actually, I don't remember, how did Ketroc even get down here? This seems odd to see Ketroc down here. So he got taken out by Tier.
Yeah, so this was just the Tier being good.
Tier's
sort
just
of thing.
Good. Yeah,
I think some of the other ones, it was a little bit of an upset. It was more of a surprise. I think Ketroc versus Tier, that's a tough one to call in the first place.
Yeah.
Tier just handled it pretty well.
Yeah, Tier prepared for that. He was ready for that kind of him and Ketroc went against it last season, and Ketroc came on top. So you can always anticipate that when Tier loses, Team Infinity Probability Drive will make the efforts to change it up a bit. So especially with so much in their repertoire. Speaking of which, why don't we dive into some of these stats? Let's see what Ketroc and 12 Poobot have in store. Perhaps. There it is. All right. JavaBot. JavaBot Ketroc, hard coded. Only one trophy.
But a lot of close finishes too. Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of top fours by Ketroc.
Easily.
So yeah, safe macro-oriented strategy, full of ravens. Loves to go to the late game with like Banshee Raven, dropping a lot of turrets, being really efficient with the energy-based killing.
Yeah. Aggression. Weakness is aggression, harassment, and Aerys, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
I mean, yeah, 12 pool bot certainly is aggressive.
I guess that
No,
could actually
no doubt there.
that could probably give him some trouble because everything coded from scratch, so it won't share noticeable tendencies with other bots. Yeah, and 12 pool bot is aggressive, so that could actually give Ketroc a bit of trouble. If I get time this season. Oh, this is human versus ProBot, so we'll see. I think I guess if he wins, he'll be able to submit for humans versus ProBots.
Yeah.
And then if I remember, 12 ProBot doesn't have some. Oh, it does have something.
Yeah. So basically just lings, but it isn't. But it isn't actually just lings. So that's important to note. Does tend to open with the 12 pool, but then switches to roaches if it loses, as has been what we've seen.
So this is actually a liar bot. It doesn't do what it says it's going to do.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
But is small. I think this is the one that has only 430 whatever lines of code.
835, if I remember. And so actually it's using I never say this way. Is it Digesta?
I think it's Dijkstra or something.
Dijkstra
Yeah.
instead of A star. And I looked that up earlier to see the difference in it. And so it actually I think if I remember correctly, if I might misquote it, it's that it can be a little bit more accurate than A star, but it's not as robust as A star. In terms of
and you definitely notice it. Like if you keep the pathfinding in mind as it's playing, you'll probably see it. So the way that the lings and stuff are moving, it's very individual, and it's very like some are jumping forward and backward all the time. It's a very fluid.
Yeah, so I said it's not very like it's a little bit more modular and a lot easier, but not as as robust as A star. But it could be a little bit more accurate. Depends on how it's deployed. So here we are in hard lead or lead. I'm gonna go with lead because that seems like the most practical. And then equilibrium, and if there is a game 3, golden aura. I don't know how this if hard lead will affect the 12 pool power, but
yeah, I mean, it's down to rush distance a bit. And then I guess the other thing is whether or not you're going up ramp into the natural or not.
Yeah.
But I think it happens early enough that I don't think that'll affect the 12 pool part, but it might affect the roach part if we get to that eventuality.
Does the roach part do burrow? I cannot remember.
I think so. I don't know. It just made a bunch of stuff. I forget if it does burrow.
Okay, well,
I think it does. I think it burrowed, but I don't know if it burrow movemented. Because again, there's not much to this one.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ketroc. ProBots.
Here we are on hard lead. As Tobias Wolf said in the chat, Dijkstra is A star, but without heuristics.
Yeah.
Without heuristics.
Makes some form of mild sense.
All right. Well, easy start here. Ketroc declaring that he's going Banshees.
Indeed, and Banshees probably won't come into play as early as the 12 pool will.
No.
So you've got Lings already on the way here. Out tended to do a reasonable job of grouping them up and moving them together. And Ketroc going with the CC on the low ground here. Usually this ends up turning into a planetary. The key will be, is there a wall off here? So the location of this first barracks, okay, and the engineering bay is going to be how we get the wall.
Feel though that
is
we
that
might.
a full? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. Oh, is that what is that square? Is that a what is that? Is that a?
Yeah,
I think that's
feels-
fine. I think that's
yeah.
fine. Maybe.
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 Yeah.
I hope it's fine. So what we might see from these though, this actually might force this natural to get canceled. I don't know. Does he can't cancel? Oh, rip.
Yeah, he will cancel it if it gets low. I'm pretty sure, but it's a matter of will this buy time. So I think him going for this while he'll get it, maybe would have been better served had he just kind of run in and tried to attack the front right away. It's only a little bit of a delay, but I think it's important. And at the front wall here, you can see that it is a full wall off, but the SCV scramble to get the repairs on.
And right now, though, we're not really like we're seeing a factory coming out of Ketroc, but I don't know if that will be here in time.
I guess it's in time for what? If you're infinitely repairing and there's a marine out, then I don't know if this has a second gear.
No, because there's no gas being mined, so I don't think there is. Like, this is it. This is either works or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, so this actually will hold. I feel like Ketroc is going to be able to get out enough, to hold enough, to repair enough, just be enough for this would-be annoyance.
Yeah, and you really don't need much to hold this. Even if he didn't have the Marines out, he could just kind of put 2 SCVs for each building, and I think pretty much infinitely hold this as long as you've got income, and just wait for something to come out of the factory. But yeah, I don't think there's an off position on the Ling flood either.
Nope.
So yeah, he'll just kind of
He
accumulate
expanded
stuff.
though. He expanded it, and I'm not really.
I think he did before too, and it's only really for the larva.
Oh.
But as I don't know, I see one drone there, but I don't think he'll drone that.
So it looks like his whatever kicked in for him to know that this is a futile attack, and now he's doing this a level of which he's popping in, thinking about it, popping out. You know what I like though? I like that Ketroc, instead of trying to rebuild the base on the low ground, he built his,
rebuilt it high.
Yeah, I think that's actually. I would like to ask him a little bit what is the trigger of that kind of code? Like if he's unable to reach the low ground, does his bot just say, okay, there's no low ground access, so build it up here?
Probably. I guess it makes the assessment like I'm better off just starting it now, then I'm not super delayed, and when I retake the low ground, then it's fine. But it also then gives you the option, well, if the low ground, I figured that may happen. He's still not going to break through, but we're going to get Banshees out soon out of Ketroc.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the other option is, of course, you can float to a third, you can float to a fourth, you can go somewhere else when you built it in your main. So it's not a huge concern. Because even if it turns out, okay, I didn't retake it, then, oh well, the worst case scenario is you've got extra mules in your base, and you can float somewhere else.
Yeah, I would want to ask Ketroc about some of the logic on there, because now, I guess it knows that there's amount of danger, so it's flown it back up onto the high ground to repair it. I'm guessing it's not aware of the Banshee, and I'm guessing it's going to try to float it back down to the low ground. Oh no! What is it doing?
It's
Did it set up a planetary?
I don't think a planet, maybe a CC.
Oh,
yeah. Orbital is.
Okay, I thought it was trying to build a planetary inside. 3 bases.
Yeah. Again, I think you probably won't see this droned. And I don't know where Banshees are at the moment, but the moment they make it across, it's not going to be any detection or anything.
Yeah, where did the Banshee go? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's going now. It does this. They tend to do the long path, basically. to try and stay hidden longer. But and I think he's usually timing it out such that it gets there when the cloak's finished. So the fact it takes longer is not the concern. It's more timing it out to when the cloak finishes.
I mean, Ketroc is taking his pretty sweet time because I thought he was gonna pop something else out of the factory and say he just popped out a raven. Whew.
Yeah, it is kind of passive here. Like, while this works, had your opponent gone into like Baneling or something, this
Be dead.
It's pretty dangerous. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. 'Cause
Like
if that many got in, then you'd be dead.
And I'm a little surprised it didn't just started making more Marines, right? That
Yeah.
is a little shocking to me.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know how much that's coded in. Like I know he usually only makes a bit, and then he's kind of switching to the air. But I thought he did have more than that, because I think there were only like 4 or 5 wherever in existence.
Well, I think with Cloak, I think it's safe to say that this is over. Well, okay. Well, I guess we still have this, like, you know what? Something could happen, actually. Something could, like,
you'd
wrong
have
here.
to have some bug that stopped him from repairing or something.
Well, he
Like
could run
he's-
out. I mean, that's always a possibility. Just run out of minerals in the long game.
It's got 2,000 things. but yes, it's possible. It is possible. But at this point, though, he'd have to do it with no economy left. Like, these are the last workers here. And because it's 12 full bot that has 0 minerals.
Yeah.
So eventually the turret will just clear everything up. But it does feel a little like something is, I don't know, not totally wrong, but basically like it hasn't adapted to this super well. Like, obviously Ketroc's in no danger or anything, but this doesn't feel like the build.
That
Like,
Ketroc should be doing?
Yeah, it feels like there should be more on the ground. There should be something out of the factory. There should be, because this went right to, it was like 5 Marines, then right to air and only air.
I'm gonna guess this has to do with the lack of the lack of CC on the low ground, the lack of a natural. Like, is that? Oh, it is a Viking.
Yeah.
Well, at least it doesn't land.
He'd be better if he landed over, but behind the wall.
Yeah. Well.
And I think he makes, probably in a TVZ, he makes the one Viking just to go hunting for overlords.
Overlords, yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense, but yeah. It's a time-consuming process to kill everything with a couple of banshees.
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say that we could fast forward to here. I feel like we've
most likely.
Yeah, we've made it to the end zone here, and yeah, these links aren't coming in.
Yeah, the
Well,
last of them will die.
You know, and I'm going to say kudos to 12bot for coming this far into ProBots with just 12 pool plus a little bit of roaches somewhere.
Yeah, and I think we'll see potentially the roaches coming up next. And I think if we get a really similar thing, roaches at that gate being killed really slowly are way more dangerous than lings, because they could kill the SCVs. So if Ketroc doesn't have enough on the ground to deal with it, then that is a lot harder to deal with. So the second game could be different if he doesn't have a good response early.
Yeah, these Marines coming out was no bueno.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of made like, it made sense to go down because you were potentially going to save your CC on the low ground.
Yeah.
So like the move wasn't wrong, but it was just weird he didn't build more. That's all.
Yeah, it's odd that it stopped, that it didn't continue to build more Marines. And I think it's right. I think you're right where you say that it may not be the build that he was supposed to do, that he was kind of expecting to do. And that might be how he reacts to not having a natural with a planetary, right? Maybe that planetary is a condition for him to go into what he may actually want to be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Say we are equilibrium. I'm not a master actually at the spacing, so I don't know how much this is going to do against 12 pool. Is this a larger map?
Not really. It's the one with both on top.
Okay.
So the rush distance is actually a little bit shorter, maybe 3 seconds shorter. Yeah. So I think it could be interesting.
Yeah. So equilibrium could be problematic.
You're quicker for the banshees to get over too, though, if that's what he's doing. So
if he lives,
the counter attack. Oh yeah, exactly.
If he lives,
exactly.
if he lives. So, I think there won't be any problems with repairing if that's in. But if he opens it and then the lings all flood in, then that could be where we see the problem. But let's find out in game 2.
Ketroc. ProBots.
I think next season will generate portraits for.
Yeah, I think we should. We can use the new Grok on Twitter, X, whatever.
Why?
It's a new image generation thing, but
Oh.
they've got no. So it's like Dolly and the rest of them,
Yeah.
but it's got like no filters on it. So
Oh no.
people have been using it to like do Disney characters and Mario Brothers and all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And then people are speculating that those companies may not like that.
And those companies will not like that. I'm actually, I don't even know how to respond.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine that'll last very long.
No, I mean, they could be cool. Nintendo certainly isn't known for being litigious or anything.
Well, maybe we'll just generate it before it gets locked down. We'll just get in one super quick.
Get some in. Yeah, people are doing stuff like Princess Peach doing coke and stuff like that. That's excellent. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay. Is that a roach warrant? Oh God. Oh, here we go. I guess 12 ProBot. So I was gonna ask last time, like, what is it that needs to trigger for roaches to come? And I guess it's just a loss. That's it. Just gotta lose. Endersword, your audio and thing just disappeared. We lost you. Just randomly. So I will have to figure out what happened to Endersword while at the same time casting. Woo! All right, we got the lings. Oh, we've lost another SCV. Oh, I think, yeah. Yeah, Endersword's still muted. All right, Marine came out, unfortunately, to his demise, and now he's going to have to make his way. Oh, roaches. This could actually be a problem for Ketroc. Ketroc may not be prepared for this. This is a little janky. I don't know what to say. Okay, unless they don't attack. If they don't attack, then this may be not as good as I'd hoped. Roaches, but Ketroc going for a third? So greedy. Ketroc, why are you so greedy? Huh? You got roaches on your door and a Zergling right in front of you, and you're going for 3 bases? This greedy build. I see you. Oh, this brave Zergling. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. It actually might be. Ooh! This might be it. This might be 12 bot fulfilling his destiny. Taking down. Oh. Oh my gosh. Is that 3 factories? It's hard, a little fuzzy for me. But it looks like he's getting 3 factories. Let's see. Man, Ketroc, this is not what you want to be doing right now. Endersword is returned. Nope. Rip Ketroc. Rip Endersword. The whole world is falling apart, and I am here by myself casting. Oh, canceled it. Good idea. Man, I think 12 ProBot should commit to roaches. I think this early roach push is actually pretty dangerous. Like, Ketroc should be prepared for this, but he's not. He's getting actually pretty manhandled right now. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna actually just kill some time, hoping that Endersword will show up. Hopefully, no, speed up, not yet. We'll give. I'll keep people entertained while we wait for Endersword to show up. That way, I don't end up being by myself. We can all enjoy Ketroc's death together. We'll bring together some marshmallows and chocolate and s'mores and oh goodness. Ketroc, baby, please. This is painful. My goodness. Well, this is unexpected because I thought this was gonna be a 2-0, and now we got a match. We got an ace match. Oh, canceled. There's oh my god. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And I have a feeling, and I have a really, really, really bad feeling that there is no anti-air. Like zero anti-air. I believe strongly that there is no anti-air. And this might be a draw. I actually might have to look up the rules because this is a weird scenario. I feel like we have a clause for this, but I'll have to look it up right this very minute. See if I can find our rules that says for a draw. I can't believe this. Okay, I'm gonna read the rules out for the draw for you guys while we wait to see what happens. Maybe he'll make something. All right, a draw may occur under one or more following conditions. Neither bot can eliminate all of their opponent's buildings. Both bots are caught in a loop of repeating actions resulting in no in-game progress. I feel like those two fall for this. Neither bot shows any progress in the game for an unspecified reason. In the event of a draw, the game will be replayed on a different map chosen at random. If a game results in a draw more than twice, the tournament director may, at their discretion, consider a game a tie and award both bots a win. Okay, so that could be interesting. Okay, well, this is weird. So I guess the game will just be replayed, and you know what? Hold on. Is that a spire? Yay! Spire. Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Thank the Matrix. Holy crap. Motherfucking spire. Oh. And then Ender Sword is kind of back, but we're not hearing him. No. I see him, but no audio. So weird. Oh, I heard something. Where did that go? Hello, test. I guess, ladies and gentlemen, we'll hold off in this miraculous tie game while I figure out where did Ender Sword's audio go. What if I refresh? Oh, nope, never mind. Production, could you hear Ender Sword? I just wanted to make sure it's just not just me. Okay, production couldn't hear Ender Sword. All right, no one could hear Ender Sword. Oh, now I hear Ender Sword. Yeah, there he is. Oh, Ender Sword. Yeah, I can hear myself. So Ender Sword's headphones imploded.
If I switch back to them, they give me sound for like 2 seconds and then cut out.
Maybe you just need to charge it.
I don't know if it's that. They seem to have, like, I powered them back on and stuff, and they seem to half play. If I start like a YouTube video, I get a second of sound and then it cuts out again. So I don't know.
So weird. Well, right now we have this finally we almost had a draw, and I was reading up draw rules, and now a Mutalisk is going across the screen to save us all. I can't believe this just happened. Oh my god. The lone Mutalisk. Okay, but I do hear myself to you.
I would say, didn't one of the old rules we have say something along the lines, if the other player hasn't made an action? So, like, basically, if their APM's at 0 for some period of time, then they're knocked out.
So it's actually if both bots don't show any progress. So
I thought there was one, though, that if your bot, like if one side showed literally no actions, then we just KO'd them.
I think it's.
thought we had
I
that
believe
rule.
that's at the organizer's discretion. So we have like a catch-all for something
Yeah.
like that. So in the event that it can be replayed if it's not replayed, or it can be at the organizer's discretion. But we don't have it. It says neither bot, either. I guess it should be either. It says neither bot shows any progress in the game for unspecific reason.
Is that a rule for a draw though, or a
Oh,
kill?
for a loss, you're
Yeah,
right.
because I was thinking we had a rule for a loss that if
You're
somebody
right.
didn't do anything for 5 minutes.
Okay, so actually for a loss, you're right. If a bot has not performed at least 2 of the following actions in 5 minutes, it would be considered idle. Mined a resource, created a unit, created a structure, killed a unit, and destroyed a structure. And then that would fall under a loss condition. You're right. That's true. So we technically could have actually ruled this in 12 bots favor, 12 pool bots favor, if push came to shove and we had to figure out what the deal was. But that's a good point. Good thing you brought. See, I'm glad you came back, Andershort.
Yeah, I remember that coming up initially because we had cases where, like, the floating definitely was a thing before, but we also just had cases where one bot was essentially dead, but the other bot couldn't even find them.
Yeah.
Like there was like a random extractor somewhere, and the other bot was only going to the like command center spot, the main base, and then
Yeah, so you were right. It would have been ruled as a loss. But here we are, 1-1. Either which way, and Ketroc falling to the roaches. So
and I think that 12 pool bot will do the roaches again.
this could be weird. Like this, are we going to see a Ketroc getting knocked out of ProBots by the simplest of what is it, 835 lines of code?
It's at least one of those lines of code was build a muta.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's find out on Golden Aura.
Ketroc. ProBots.
I have to admit, I am actually really surprised it made a Mutalisk. I honestly am super surprised.
Yeah, that must have come up just enough in some scenarios where it's like,
Must be a catch-up.
I better just if 10 minutes has gone by, then just make one and it'll be fine.
It has to be something like that because it sat there for quite some time and then it decided to do a Mutalisk. So maybe like a condition if I'm at the enemy base and the game hasn't ended.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe even like if the game hasn't ended and I haven't lost a unit in like X number of minutes, then it must mean this is the case.
I mean, that sounds like for me, for someone who made 835 lines of code, that would be hopeful if that's the
like
condition.
It's like your last 5.
If
you probably did like 840 lines, and then the last 5 was Spire, Muta, send Muta
to enemy location. Got it. Are we seeing a Roachwarn? No. Oh,
yep.
Is that a Roachwarn? Yeah, baby. I admit now, I'm sitting up because I kind of wrote him off. I'd be honest. I wrote 12 pool bot off the first game.
I would have in the first game. Weirdly, the first game is what gave me hope for the second game because the Ketroc response to it was weird. It wasn't aggressive enough. It wasn't enough ground units, and that's kind of what made me think this could happen.
It's so funny. Like Ketroc is a monolith of a bot. He is filled with responses and code, and like, ironically enough, it's probably the same weakness that Ketroc the person has, is that aggression just causes him to fall apart.
Yes. Have you been bullying Ketroc? Is that what you're saying?
I've played him before. I'm just saying.
Is he really sick tonight, or did he go beat him up?
You'll never know. Wink, wink. No, but Ketroc in general, if you can get past him in the early game, then you have a good chance. But like once his defense is up, you're gonna get wrecked. Ooh. All right. Well, that doesn't bode well.
Indeed, yeah, not a good start. Almost able to kill that Ling, but yeah, Marine here coming to finish. 12 pool bot, pretty evasive, staying alive with that Ling.
That's actually, I'm surprised it had such awareness. The other things seem to be like I can't really put my finger on 12 pool bot's logic, because sometimes I think it acts too afraid in some areas, and then sometimes it acts too brave in some areas, and I don't know what is. I don't think it has a combat simulator.
Yeah.
Or maybe
it must
maybe
have something at least simple, because it is clearly making decisions of like when to attack and not.
Yeah.
It may not be like a combat simulator, but it could be just as easy as I see to supply, I'm for supply. Attack.
That's actually probably what it. You're right. That's actually probably what it's running around. Is that it has like a maybe it's adding up the minerals and gas worth of the enemies, and also adding it up and comparing it against. I have that in my bot where it compares the minerals and gas of the enemy units, and then compares it to yours, and then you just kind of make that's the total value of the enemy's army, and if it's higher than yours, don't attack. So
here he is. Yeah, he's in again, and again, yeah, same threat of the roaches just shooting past the wall is key, and then there's a lot here, and like it just feels like Ketroc so underreacts to this to the point that I feel like something is wrong. Like it's I don't think that's typical. It feels like such an underreaction that there's something.
I'm actually kind of stunned here. Now it's it's pumping on tanks. We didn't see that last game, so this is a different kind of response.
Yeah, just too late.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing, though. I would argue that maybe it's not an underreaction, and maybe Ketroc is just unprepared. Like might be a kind of scenario that bots have sort of evolved from, because we do have a weird meta right now where a lot of the bots are letting other bots do.
Yeah.
Because we have Aerys, who is sort of like the king of, of defending the early game, and so a lot of bot authors aren't even trying to attack Aerys in the beginning, because they just can't get him, and they're trying to just wait him out to the late game. So I don't know, maybe I'm too metaing it, but I'm wondering if Ketroc is just,
maybe
expecting...
it feels, and maybe it's just a very specific type of this, but I think we've had Xena in past seasons has been aggressive with Zerg.
True.
Other bots have.
But you're right, though. It seems like such an underwhelming reaction to it that I could only. Because I feel like Ketroc must, like, he's gone against bots that are aggressive.
Like Ratash's bot, same thing, does roach openings.
Yeah.
So that seems.
Kaninana.
Yeah, Kaninana.
He
does some pretty strong
strong roach openings. Kaninana is really good at it. So like, this is a little unusual for Ketroc. So I am surprised that this reaction happened, and it's unfortunately not here because he could obviously give us a bit more insight. But I have a feeling his response would be like, I don't know. And so
yeah, maybe it could be just something needs to check, or like again, it could be something really subtle, like the evaluation says this, or like, yeah, I don't know. You're waiting for something else to happen, or you're something.
It's weird.
And then it just never makes, because I feel like he should at least have more Marines and stuff. But.
It could be that he's hard-coded against the opponent.
Possible.
He has specifically prepared a reaction for 12 pool bot, and it's not responsive to the actual roach switch, but to the bot itself. So it's tagged to the ID, and he's just essentially hard-coded strategies to take on the specific ID.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah. And maybe just didn't take in it, because you're right. It feels a little rigid because even though it took down the natural, it kind of just kept going about what it was doing. Like, it just kept, going for dual starports, going for, this time we saw a switch to tanks, which was different from last time. And that's a little bit of a hope, but in the end, it didn't save him. So.
Yeah, exactly. You needed something a little earlier than that. I think it's just building for whatever reason, the bio got turned off really, really early.
Yeah.
Like if you got up to 10 Marines or something, it's possibly fine. Then you have time to get to a tank. Once you get a tank sieged up, you're good. Here comes the Spire again. Nice.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's maybe saying 8 minutes. Well, here we are, waiting for our savior, the Spire. Maybe get a little bit of fast forward. Or if it may already be fast forwarded. Oh no, here it comes. All right. Let's see if we get Spire here, and I think it's total Ketroc. I think it's cute that the command center isn't flying away, trying to land and rebuild. Just sitting there, just saying, you know what? Screw you. I might win anyways. That's it. It's just lifted.
Yeah, you got to be stubborn. Again, it's a jump check sort of thing that if your bot can't finish you, then I guess you
That's
just,
it.
Yeah, just take the draw or whatever. But yeah, they're coming across now, and it was so close. It was so close to burning in the first place.
Enemy Zerg has Zerg Uniless conditional Viking production started.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ketroc. Not today.
No, it is not.
I have to say there's an ant-like movement, and I guess that's the
yeah, that's the pathing. Yeah, so this
Yeah.
is the Dijkstra whatever.
Dijkstra,
the
yeah.
way that they swarm. It feels very swarmy, and you'll get some moving forward, some moving back simultaneously.
I think that would be kind of fun, and I might do a YouTube shorts on the difference of the pathfinding. I'm curious to see how they stacked up, like the difference between
Yeah.
you know, A-Star and Dijkstra, how they move. It's kind of like it's very
I
fluid.
think a really interesting one, and I don't know if we'll see it again if this loops around, but when that Marine came down the ramp and the Ling became aware of it, I think most things would immediately run away. And so since the Marine was coming this way and it was here, it would move around the command center and out. It didn't. It actually moved towards the Marine and out.
Huh.
And I don't know that a lot of bots would do that.
Did we have that? Did we have that in the replays?
It was just in this little
Actually,
replay
can
pack.
we,
If
can production,
bring that up again.
can we show that one more time? Production, can we see the replays?
So it's just south of where it's going to come down the ramp, and then watch, it will actually go north instead of going down. So it actually moved closer to the Marine that it was running away from before getting away. But then it ended up in a better place because it couldn't be cornered had it gone down.
And I wonder if that's just the fuzzy, like, if I understand it too, is that Dijkstra is a bit more fuzzy in terms of the way, or is it the other way around? I can always get mixed up with whether like Dijkstra or A-Star is more fuzzy in terms of the way that it does the pathfinding. And that might be something I would love to take a look at. If you're in the channel, chat, want to give us a little bit of a primer on Dijkstra versus A-Star, I'd love to hear it. I'm super curious. Because even in 12 pool bots, 12 pool bots SWOT analysis, he says that he doesn't know if it's better, but he's using it anyways. So
that's how I make a lot of decisions.
So Tobias Wolf says, if implemented normally, they should yield the same results. The optimization of A-Star only helps finding the correct path faster.
Okay.
So why would someone use Dijkstra over? I guess, and then, he didn't say there was a reason for using it over. He said that's just what he knew. So maybe that's just, there isn't I wonder if there's an advantage to using A-Star versus Dijkstra. Okay, well, we'll find out. We'll let you guys in the chat talk a bit more of that. But I will read out because I'm really curious to hear more about why someone might use Dijkstra over A-Star. As I understand it, A-Star is actually more common in our scene than Dijkstra, from what I've seen, and that's only just some sort of bias of hearing the A-Star more. Game 2, who we're looking at now. is BenBot versus Bombshaker, which sounds like a pilsner of some sort. Maybe
Does kind of. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a craft beer.
craft beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
It sounds
I
right. Like, do you have Alexander Keith's? No, we have
have
Bombshaker.
Bombshaker.
It's another IPA. It's made in the Muskoka region.
So BenBotBC and Terran, hard coded as they are, the bot main focus eventually build a lot of battle cruisers. Says what it does on the tin.
Yeah.
It does what it says. I'm a big BenBot fan. I've enjoyed watching him grow. Mass Tempest and Mass Thor. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about Tempest, obviously, but
No.
Thor's, I don't know if Bombshaker's doing that.
Yeah, not sure.
Use of bunkers for defense and the logic around it determine when to stay inside and when to leave. The use of bunker rush is also something my bot is using that not a lot of other bots are doing. That's true. I will say that's a BenBot specialty.
I feel it used to be more common, and
Bunker rushes?
yeah, like some people, or particularly bunker contains.
Mm.
People would kind of contain with some of the bunkers. There was more of that, but now, yeah, BenBot really is one of the only. That used to be one of the key ways to try and beat Micro Machine, was to bunker contain it.
Yeah. So Bombshaker has nothing for us. So we're gonna
figure
fly
it
in
out.
blind, but BenBot, which is not bad, for a bot that hasn't, no one's like, there's no
Yeah.
author
Your secret.
backing it up, not giving away anything. He's just, he's come up so far. I'm actually gonna read what Tobias said. He put some stuff in here. So essentially, say Golden Aura, Sight Delta, and Oceanborn. I'll read it when we get into the game, so I get a chance to read all of it. But Bunker Contain, how does that feel on Golden Aura? How do we feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it works on kind of any of them as long as you're doing it. It's a little more hurt when you have to go up a ramp for it, but I think on all of these, I think he's going to be okay. It's really if there's enough room. Like if you're doing it, you're going up and it's right in front of their base. That's when it's both more aggressive, but it could be potentially stopped easier. But yeah, I think as long as you get it up, it's fine.
Yeah. I think BenBot is fairly adaptive to that. We'll see.
I think he knows the locations and everything.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty good at that. BenBot, fairly veteran bot. Bombshaker, on the other hand, is a little fresh off the factory floor.
Yeah, that's it. It's a really hoppy IPA, like I said, and it won a blue ribbon at this fair.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
All right, what else is not shaken, not stirred? This next match.
BenBotBC. Bombshaker.
Sent out that first SCV for the barracks. Pretty close to the front. This would be a pretty easy to spot location if Bombshaker does scout.
But I have a feeling he doesn't.
No, may not.
Tobias Wolf says Dykstra expands the nodes closest to the start. The greedy algorithm expands the ones nearest the goal first. A-Star adds both of these things together.
Okay. That mildly makes sense to me.
I kind of understand what it means. So I'm guessing this does it make it more accurate? No.
So I
A-Star
think
would
they're
be more
saying
accurate.
basically if you've got them both, then they're going to connect to the same thing. But if you're under time pressure and you're moving far, one of them prioritizes where you want to end up first.
Yeah.
One prioritizes where you're leaving from first. If I'm understanding that right.
Yeah. So you can technically get these to work together. A-Star and Dykstra.
That's the way it sounded, at least from their
Yeah.
description, that basically if it's got enough time to run, it's going to conclude the same thing in the end.
Hmm.
But
That might
You're-
not. I feel like that for efficiency sake, that might not be too good. Oh, we got a Marine coming here,
Yeah.
already assaulting.
yeah, if you could get the SCV here building, then yeah, it stops this and can potentially create the trigger of the chain reaction trying to rebuild this thing.
And Bombshaker's fallen into the trap, I think, trying to respond to it with his SCVs, and his SCVs are currently confused, distressed.
Yeah, at least they're not suicidal, because that often happens. So they're going down, they're not sure what to do, but they're at least not just attacking the bunker like a crazy person.
Well, there's still time.
Yeah, there is. And he is going to finish the CC. Now, if he finishes it and lifts it, then this is probably good. If he finishes it and just leaves it there and it dies, that's less good. That's suboptimal.
What else is suboptimal is these Marines coming to die.
That too. But we'll see. So this is finishing. He is going to try and... Now, he can mine behind this as long as he doesn't come out front or anything. And he can certainly repair it. But you're going to spend a lot of resources trying to repair the bunker.
We do have a factory coming down. I don't know what
A tank on the high ground would work fine. I think that's within range. You'd be okay. But we've got Widow Mine support, which will dance its way on over.
We're a little bit behind here. There's
Not
a...
gonna crash.
Or okay, maybe it's not coming.
Yeah. He's done that before where he puts like a turret up and a tank and a Widow Mine as the forward position. Doesn't look like he's pursuing that.
Well, he is forcing to lift up, so good news for BenBot, but bad news for Bombshaker. Well, he didn't leave it to die, so, not the worst news. But production is looking stalled.
It is. In some ways, that's not the worst thing in the world because he was not just making Marines to kill them,
Yes.
but he's also now lacking in minerals. Is he going to start a tank once he gets enough?
And this CC is suicidal.
Now it is, but it's trying to not be. It's trying to go to the other location,
Oh.
but now it's on fire.
Oh. Now, this is terrible because if it lands, it might pull the SCVs to run past all this, and I'm not a fan of that.
That's also possible, and the fact that he hasn't made a tank or anything. I think because he's lost so many workers, he's prioritizing that first. But he built the tech lab presumably to make a tank, and I don't think he's going to.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, that's
No.
unfortunate. Once again, we've got a bunker contain that does what it's supposed to do and wreck this bot's logic every which way. Because I feel like there's a level of which it's, you're right. It's stuck trying to build resources, trying to maintain its economy when it right now needs a response to get out of this contain.
Yeah, that's something we've seen time and time again, and it's kind of while people would respond as like, okay, I got to pick one and prioritize. I think in a lot of cases, it's if you're in the place that you're like, I've got 6 workers, I really need to get a tank out, but I got to get my economy back up. The reality is you've lost anyway.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a case that a lot of the authors spend a lot of time trying to figure out, because it's like, if you're in this state, 7 supply to 70, move on. Like work on another game where you're winning. So yeah, it's an edge case that I think you get into sub worker counts that you basically can't live with, and then you end up with like fundamental priorities that it can't deal with. Now these Marines not doing a great job, but eventually the SCVs will just run out of minerals trying to repair the tank, and those are the only 2 SCVs, so nobody's mining.
Oh my goodness. Well, this actually reminds me of a problem I have with my own bot on the ladder. So on the ladder, I put a bot and I put on a pretty strong build, and it's actually got me up a little bit in the ladder. And then someone low on the ladder figured out that they could send a probe and have it run around in my natural, and my bot would just not be able to respond. And so I lost a lot of ladder points because just that, And so I thought to myself, well, do I want to focus on this
Exactly.
this one weird thing, or do I want to focus on something that might have a larger impact on like my bots overall? And so there's that trade-off that you have to think about yourself. You're like, okay, well, I have a limited amount of time this week to work on my bot. What am I going to work on? Is it to stop this, like, I'm going to call it like a point thief, because this person's like way down at the bottom of the ladder. They're losing against other bots, but they're obviously milking my points because they're exploiting. They're getting the win on my bot, and my bot's higher on the rank, so it's getting all my ELO points, and it's getting wrecked by the other bots because it doesn't have any actual build. So I don't know. We'll call it a ELO vampire, right? So
sounds right. Sounds right. So Bombshaker currently with 0 minerals, 0 workers.
Okay, let's fast forward
one tank. One tank that is going to be killed 1 Marine at a time.
I feel like we can do a little bit of fast forward because
I think this
it is fast forward.
That is.
Right. Oh, okay. Well. Oh my God! This tank, you a hero! You a hero!
How many kills he got?
I need a hero.
25. He would be so promoted in Stormgate.
There it is, the BC. I need a hero. Oh, I thought I was gonna Yamamoto it.
Yeah, I think the Marine finished it from the bottom there. And yeah, BenBot insisted on going to the BC, no matter what.
Well, he has to do what his name says.
That's it.
He would.
It is my nature.
Yeah. Why did you sting me? That it is in my nature. BenBot is the scorpion.
Is indeed. And taking map 1 there. Pretty
handily.
Easily, but weirdly.
I mean,
yes. But it's the trademark BenBot kind of lack of aggression. He's just contained them. And we've said this many times, like that contain is not even intended to win. It's intended to buy time to get up to the BCs and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes it wins. And this is one of those times.
Luckily enough for BenBot. So here we are, Site Delta, or where we will be, Site Delta. And I feel like Bunker Curtain is going to work equally as well on this. I don't see much problems with Site Delta specifically. Are we ramp up? Also, we actually have a ramp up to the natural.
Yeah, this one does. But he made that bunker we just saw pretty aggressively too. So and that was fine. So if he does the same thing, I think he's still going to be all right, because there was no there was no attempt to stop the bunker.
Yeah.
So I think as long as that's not in it, then it really doesn't matter how aggressive you are.
Yeah. I think BenBot. Like I don't think Bombshaker has a response to this. So I'm seeing we're gonna see like a repeat of last game. I don't see how we get past that. So, though I welcome to see a difference in attempt, but yeah, who knows? Let's find out.
BenBotBC. Bombshaker.
So this is BenBot 4.6. I wonder if he releases a new like version per season. Is it what? On how he does the versions?
Possibly even more. I mean, we do multiple updates in a season, and then and of course with point, and you can name stuff 0.5382187. Like you can do whatever you want, and then round it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows how many it's been? But I assume throughout their normal ladder, there's no like you can pretty much
Yeah, you can
update
do whatever, whenever.
continuously.
Yeah, whenever.
Yeah. So yeah, and then with us, yeah, you could do it like 3 times. So
Yeah. Barracks coming down, just getting repeated last game. While we wait for this, I just saw a trailer for the Terminator anime, and I'm weirdly excited for it.
oh, that would be interesting.
I have to admit, I'm a
Terminator.
little surprised that I actually thought it was going to look good. So I'm kind of excited for that. That's a little of an aside, but yeah.
You could do some things.
Yeah, I know. It actually looks really good. And then you could bring back Arnold's voice and you won't know he's like 1 billion years old.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the Terminator's always been a good universe, but it doesn't feel like it has like any depth to it at all.
There's nowhere to
And-
go.
But it works. Like it just works somehow.
I mean,
It's like, yeah.
I feel like we're kind of really trapped with the Terminator. Like there's only like you can only like it's Doomsday, right? And or
Yeah.
D-Day, and like really that's it. We've tried to go back. We try to go forward. Yeah.
And it
there's-
feels like they just have it. They're very constrained in like a 50-year period.
yeah.
And it's never occurred to them like, hey, have you tried going to like the 1600s and killing one of his ancestors or whatever? Like, what is that? Like, yeah, we
even
go
the
back
Terminator
just
is-
far enough that the humans still have weapons that can destroy us.
even in this anime, it's going to 1997. So
Yeah, that's silly.
yeah. Well, here we go. BenBot is containing Bombshaker.
Yeah, containing good mining on the low ground this time though. He got this up a lot quicker to actually be able to mine here. Unfortunately, SCVs are kind of suiciding towards that bunker every now and then, but he's got a healthier count. If he can, again, the holdup was really getting to that first tank and having something that could defend this. But if he's not inclined, like he acknowledges this is there clearly, but
Yeah.
he's not like doing anything about it.
Well, I'm hoping here that that's exactly what I was going to hope is not is that he's going to destroy this refinery
Yeah,
and then we're going
won't
to try to
rebuild.
he's going to try to rebuild it every time, which is just going to be a drain on the resources. Because what we need to see right now is he to get his limit of resources or get to whatever his SCV count he wants, so that he can build the factory and defend this properly.
Yeah, and I just don't think he can.
No.
Like yeah, it's too much of a mineral drain the entire time.
Is that a
Constant
planetary?
repairing. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
Okay, well maybe this
He might
like,
get there.
he
but
might get this like a planetary. Maybe. Oh, okay. This
It's going to be tight, but I think. Yeah,
Is
he'll
he
get
out of
there.
minerals? Is he out of
The
minerals?
bill-
Oh, he is.
He's
Oh
got
no.
a tiny bit. He's got
Oh.
nowhere. Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Never
It
mind.
would- I think it was going to make it.
I think it was gonna make it too.
Yeah, no, it
He-
wouldn't have mattered anyway. He still came in to kill the bunker before he died, but regardless. And he then was also out of it.
Okay, well, I
Now
guess
there's no tank defending. As soon as BenBot decides to go up there, he didn't even make this an orbital, so there's literally just nothing to do. He's got, because he canceled it though, he could build more SCVs, he's just not.
just wants to burn. Some people just want the world burn. Well, while we wait for this slow and painful death, Alien Romulus. I actually kind of want to see that too. We'll see.
Yeah, I didn't see, what was the
Deadpool?
other one? No, like the last alien, Prometheus.
Oh, Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Yeah, didn't see that stuff, but I
I
did
hear
see
this is
the-
not. This is not like it's not like those. Even though I
Yeah.
did like them, I'm one of those weird people that actually did like the thing. But you know, I do know why people didn't like it. People definitely did not like Prometheus, and definitely were not a fan of Covenant. But I like them.
I kind of like the last Predator, the one that
Oh,
one they
Hunter,
did
the
go,
one that's like they're going back into like
yeah, they go
1600s.
back into exactly.
that was
Yeah,
kind of that was
sweet.
cool. I like that one. Well, I mean, that's exactly what you're saying, right? Like,
Yeah,
let's,
like
let's-
that was a cool angle.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else. And I feel like Terminator. I mean, if you were to send a a T100 into 1650, we might have some problems. Like I don't know if we're gonna have a story.
Yeah, the British Navy doesn't really have a response for a Terminator.
Oh, and we see on this low ground, like this is such a strong strategy. I mean, obviously other bots have figured it out, but for if you're an up and coming bot and you've never tangled with these higher end bots, something like that is going to give you a lot of problems. And like you said, it's like a good chump check because
Yeah.
these bots are seasoned. Like this won't work on maybe an Aerys or even a tier because they have responses. But if you're coming up into this top of the level of ProBots just now, this is where you are now. This kind of strategy is going to like rack your brain for a bit, I think, for a few seasons. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard enough to deal with anyway, like let alone having to make the decisions of whether to go or not. I think though the key thing is I think you have to, as a bot author, put in either I'm gonna even try and defend this or I'm not.
Yeah.
But having something that's like I'll mildly attack the bunker is almost always bad.
Well, you're gonna have to design for it specifically. This is that, and this is what we were talking about earlier, where you're gonna have to make the thought of, you know what, it's hard enough, like you said earlier, it's hard enough to build a bot to just win. Build a strategy, build up, and have your core logic to win. But then you have this kind of edge case of only one bot in ProBots doing this particular strategy. That if you don't learn, if you don't have a response for it, you're not going to move any forward.
Yeah.
But it's a very narrow. You might not even get him next season. You might not even play him next season. So, there is a bit of trade-off. Will you decide, okay, well, I'm going to improve my overall bot's strength, macro, micro, or am I going to be prepared for BenBot dropping a bunker in front of my base? And that's
I think
a tough one.
You could at least, like, while they're individually different too, you've got to have something in general to be like, whether it's a bunker, whether it's a photon cannon, whether it's a shield battery, whether it's a whatever. What is my
So it's like a contained strategy, like a contained module of the, if I get contained, but you're only going to get contained on a Terran or a Protoss. So, yeah, you're right. It's good to have that kind of response, a contained response, because you do have Sharkbot roaming around. Now you have BenBot to worry about.
We have had bots in the past that would spread, creep, or go and make a thing to do the spine crawler. Do you remember? Like
that's so long ago.
In early seasons, we had that. In early seasons,
I remember that's like ProBots 1.1, where people were dropping like entire hatcheries and then fucking moving spine crawlers up to juke your natural. Man, good thing you reminded. I almost forgot about it. Yes, that did happen. That has fallen out of meta very long. Those are the Zerg bots were all the rage with that. Everyone was dropping their hatchery in front of you so that they could spine crawler the heck out of you and move it up. Man, holy crap. Yeah, well, thank goodness that's gone, because that was some shenanigans. All right, though, what I don't want you to be gone, I don't want you to be gone, because we're going to go on a break just shortly. Before we go on a break, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I'm not going to give you the whole good spiel, because you've been here on ProBots long enough. You know the drill. All those good stuff. ! Join, become a member. I'm going to shout out Dyson, who became a member today. Dyson, you the man, or I won't presume, but for joining either which way, you're bae. All right, thank you. But be a Dyson, ! Join, become a member, and I'll explain the perks when we come back. Until then, see you in a bit. 5 minutes. All right, and we are back from break. Hopefully you're all refreshed and ready to see more bots play. It's part 2. We're in the second half.
It is.
We're sailing along, actually, at a good pace. Some nights you never know. These bots.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what will, especially BenBot can end up being long.
Yeah,
but that was mercifully short.
it's short. It's a good way of putting it. We're opening up with Micro Machine. You know who he is. You've been at Micro Machine, and then MiniTestic P, who's made by Matchmaking GG. Interesting.
Yeah, which
just realized that.
seems like a dating service. So, so, so is it like Sharkbot, where it started as a chatbot, and this one started as a form of a Tinder, and then it became a matchmaking,
I hope
like
so.
MMR thing? Yeah.
Put pressure and adapt to its army composition to counter the enemy's army. That's Micro Machine to a T. That's for sure. Some rushes still work really well against it, and it has a hard time dealing with Swarm Host and Tempest. Oh,
Who doesn't?
I mean, I still have a hard time dealing with Tempest. Has a few predefined build orders that are switched out whenever it loses, allowing to find what works best against each opponent. I wonder how they figure that out. Is that just like they just keep track of the score and then they just swap it out?
Actually,
Okay.
it's funny too. If you play this in our humans versus ProBots,
Yeah.
when you download this in the Micro Machine folder, will be a little text file it keeps.
I've heard people deletes that.
Yeah, you can delete it. Well, now
I've
you're
heard
letting
that.
people cheat, because that was one way that you could tell whether or not it was playing you for the first time.
Is it new?
And,
Yeah.
yeah, it knew.
Well, here we are. MiniTestic P does not have any sort of stuff made by Matchmaking GG or Matchmaking GG. We're on Equilibrium
Love Finders, 2 Z's.
with 2 Z's.
Yeah,
Download the
Yeah.
app Matchmaking GG.
exactly. that clearly should be a thing. Um,
I'm going to take the URL right now while we're waiting.
Yeah, I know a few. I won't say his name, but one of the casters that we know, whenever we would go to an event, he would take his Tinder and turn down the radius. You turn down the radius. So if we were out at like the airport or something, and you know that there's nobody else around, so you turn the radius down to like 100 meters, and then just start giving her.
Oh my God. Well, where do you come back from that? I mean, it makes sense, especially if you're going to an esports event. You just want to game the system.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But here we go on to Equilibrium Micro Machine versus MiniTestic P.
Micro Machine. MiniTestic.
Stay there forever.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They might.
Oh, there it is.
It's a good tip for Fan Expo next weekend too.
Oh, it's Fan Expo there. No.
Although,
Actually, hold on a
harder in the
second.
middle of it.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Not production. Observer, can you push enter? I want to see what Micro Machine said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it? Greeting, stranger. I shall call you. A bunch of names. Proxy cyclones. Early expand. So I'm guessing those are the ones it's used, right? That's what it's used.
It basically gives a record there. So these are the possible choices, but it says here's my history against you. But we've got it at 0-0. Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, so if you'll see once we get to game number 2, early expand will either be 1-0 or 0-1.
So it'll see. That's how it's keeping track of
It's
it.
keeping track of what it's doing.
It's win rate with with that particular strategy. Interesting. All right. Wait, this is a lot of barracks we got going on here.
Seems like a bit.
I'm surprised they didn't proxy all these barracks. Oh, this SCV has. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just doing stuff. I think you could certainly proxy them. Probably a little more of a commitment if you get caught, but
I mean,
yeah. but you're kind of all in with it.
I mean, I feel like this is all in anyways. Oh my god, how many?
It's no gas too. So it's just pure.
Yeah, this is an all in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would have just proxied this. Oh jeez, landed right on that one.
Nice anticipatory grenade.
I wonder how they do those grenades. I wonder if it's through pathfinding.
I think it. You must be able to calculate if something's moving towards you, and you're just like, if it keeps coming at the same rate, this is where it's going to be.
Ooh, this actually could be kind of dangerous. Maybe.
It'll almost come down to the first volley of the first fights.
Well, this will come down to it. I think if this fight gets wrecked by Micro Machine, then it's done. I don't think there's a coming back, because then by this time Micro Machine will have a Banshee, a tank, or, I think he'll be well prepared. But I don't think this might hold.
He's delaying enough, so 3 more just joined, which is a huge increase in the power here. There's Hellion and double Marines coming on his side. Nice grenade there, spreading around fire. But I think he took this fight too prematurely.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say I liked how much tentative we were looking at in terms of this, but MiniTestic is coming in and going in deep.
Because I think if you got this when there were like 2 Hellions and still that many Marines, but yeah, he's being really, really tentative because he doesn't outnumber him, and he would have otherwise, I think. So, okay, here's the basic engagement now. Really needs these flames
Hold
to
the
do well,
boys.
and they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So if you could shut this down, one Hellion get really aggressive there. The other one not firing. It's just maneuvering, but it's not actually shooting.
Okay,
But,
there comes the flame.
Yeah.
This is a little touchy. I'm feeling a little touchy here for Micro Machine because we are holding right now.
So there's no off position on this. Or if he saves his CC, then I think that's it. But I don't know if he will.
No.
Banshee is coming out. Is he gonna try and mule this? Yeah, he's got 1 SCV repairing, but he diverted to repair the Hellion.
And no,
And it's gonna burn down. Yeah.
that was unfortunate.
Now he might be fine here anyway. He's now got a bit up front. He's got the Banshee coming out, Cloak coming out. Cloak will end it because there's no response to that. So all he has to do is avoid getting overwhelmed until that kicks in, and I feel like he's done that already.
Well, maybe, because what we might see maybe is that, oh, never mind. And so once Cloak is done, yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah, he does, because I think he just streams in now. I don't think he's ever gonna accumulate
No,
either.
he's not.
If he was able to stop,
Oh, here's a bunch.
Yeah, if he's able to stop this, gather up like 16 and go, maybe, but I don't even think this front path is enough.
And Cloak is just about done. Not quite. Oh, yeah, so this is looking a little wrecked.
He would have had to come in with a pretty big crew, enough to like literally jump on the command center,
Yeah.
wipe everything out. And now it's
Oh, no, yeah, tank's here. We're done. Done like dinner. I feel we could give it a little bit fast forward. This little massacre. Yeah. And then Micro Machine is slowly gonna
leapfrog forward, cyclone here as well. Yeah, ability
and you know, and it's nice to see Micro Machine back in good form after his thumping last week against Sharkbot.
And Banshee in the base here, now raining down fire on everyone, but they were going to mine out here pretty soon anyway.
He's just helping them along. I banish you to the Shadow Realm.
It's hard on these, so that like that things that are kind of based on the just build a whole ton and keep going can work really well, obviously, if that first hit goes. I think this one fell into a little bit of the trap of making the decision. Like, there's often going to be something at the natural.
Yeah.
And while it's certainly good to kill that, the whole thing that you have is kind of predicated on winning right now.
Yeah.
Like, since it doesn't have a second gear where it's like, I did damage, now I'll transition. If there is no transition, I don't think you can do that. Okay, then I'll kill this and take another whole minute before I go up the ramp. You have to either go up the ramp or you don't.
I mean, that's why I would have, if I was to code this strategy in, it would be a proxy. I would just proxy.
Yeah,
if you're all inning anyways, and there is no follow up, I'm just proxying, because that stream of Marines coming across was hell of a costly. Because if it was right outside the base and you got all 4 of them out there, Micro Machine would probably get overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a mild trade-off in the distance versus the extra mining time lost.
Yeah.
To send out a whole bunch of SCVs, but
like here, right here, at this moment here, this is, if this had the backup it needed during the time, it would have been enough to push into Micro Machine's core.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so too. But yeah, I also think if you just went right away, like not ignored the CC on the low ground and just gone, because I think you have to, particularly TBT, you have to break the wall at the front.
Yeah.
So you can't be doing that when you know that you're going to have to fight on a ramp. You're definitely on a clock for someone to get a tank out.
Yeah.
Like, there's such a tight window there that you have to go, that I think that has to just go.
Yeah. Well, let's find out what if there will be a change of strategy in Game 2, Micro Machine versus MiniTestic P.
Micro Machine. MiniTestic.
Oh, I see. I saw we're doing early expand. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah. So here you can see the 1-0. So he's got early expand 1-0. So he's going to choose it again.
I thought he had oh, okay. He's just doing the same one again. All right, early expand 1-0.
Right there. Yeah, since he won. And then if he had lost, he probably would.
I wonder how he decides which to switch to. If it's at random.
Probably race based for one.
And, it probably goes. It probably knocks down through a list of things. Is this a certain race? Is this a certain map? If so, then. Notice the grid clicks again versus floating point micro. MiniTestic P only seems to use whole numbers for coordinates, never fractions. We will see. I mean, that could lead to getting trapped between walls. You never know. Wait, I forgot he's random. I was like, what?
Yeah. You're about to say, did he build a roach warren last time? No, he couldn't.
Yeah. Threw me for a loop. I was like, wait a minute, what? Way to throw your opponent off. To tell them you're like a Protoss and then turn out, surprise!
Yeah, exactly. Good way
I'm actually all the races. And so obviously it's deliberately because he has like builds for all these races. So
yeah,
the first time when we ran the matches and I said it, I told them to run it again because I thought there was a mistake. Oh, we're going again. Is this just the same strategy but just done different races? Are we seeing just all roaches?
I suppose he's getting burrow, which is almost never bad, but I think this was a little bit of a factor last time too, is the fact that a Reaper got in. The first things that went out weren't on the schedule they wanted to be, because some things stayed home and chased.
Yeah.
The roaches, I feel that's even more impactful.
Yes.
Because you really want to hit with like 7 all at once right up front. And here again, we're getting really distracted by the CC. And while that's nice and everything, I don't know that that's.
You need to be going up there. We need to go right up there right now.
You're just on such a clock. And look, there's like Marauders coming out. There's the concussive shell coming out. And now that he's getting chased in, like if he had ripped apart one of these depots before that Marauder came out, and look, there's nobody coming to repair this, then we're in a way different position.
But now we have Burrow, and that can make a difference. But I feel like
get it. Will he finish it before the repair comes? No.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we're just in a totally different world because see, he waited. He would die in there.
Ooh.
Kind of odd. Is there any reason they're risking themselves?
I mean, I think they're waiting to a certain health HP percentage, and then they're popping out. But I think the hit from these concussive shells are just they're giving them. Oh no!
Now we got trouble.
Oh no, baby, run! This is it.
That's a pretty stone cold shutdown. We had the scan and the tank fire at the same time, and
I think this is an L. I think this is a big old L.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how you.
Yeah. There's no coming back.
There's no coming back for this.
You really got to do some damage with the first ones, and then Micro Machine, whether it was a real response or it was like the perfect counter to it.
Yeah, and that scan tanks. This is a big old L. All right, production, take us to the fast forward. Cancel offensive. No, don't cancel it. There we go. Relaunch it. Micro Machine is on a mission. You know what though? I appreciate Micro Machine for that though, because when Micro Machine is like, it's stabilized, it's coming for you. Unlike BenBotBC, you never know when he might get up, or Ketroc, you never know when they'll decide to come, and even Tier can be a little finicky sometimes. You don't even know when they're gonna decide to attack or.
Yeah, some just go up to the 200, but yeah, Micro Machine is coming as soon as it feels it can, like you said, on a mission, and. Every time I hear someone say that someone's on a mission, in my head starts playing the Turtle Rap song from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
How did that Turtle Rap go? You'll have to refresh my mind.
They're on a mission, got the enemy wishing that they stayed at home instead of fighting. These ninja masters got moves like lightning.
Can't believe you remember the to that song.
Of course, I remember the lyrics.
I shouldn't even be surprised.
What else would I remember?
I don't know. You're the one in karaoke. You did Eminem, and you did it really well. So
yeah. Well, I think every white guy my age needs to do Eminem.
I think it's a coming of age.
I think it's a law. Yeah. But not as many people. Not as many people have turtle power.
No, absolutely not. I was a shredder person myself personally. All right, but yeah, that was rough.
Shredder was Uncle Phil.
Oh my God, was it Avery?
Yeah, James Avery.
Oh,
he was the voice in the cartoon.
Today I learned.
Not the movies. Obviously.
Obviously
not the movies, obviously. But
you could have gotten away with it though. It could have gotten away with it because the mouth was covered. Yeah. So.
The body, he would have had to done a James Earl Jones thing where he's Darth Vader. That's fine. Yeah, they could have done it that way.
I mean, realistically, in the future, we're just gonna, copy everyone, use AI to clone their voices anyways, and just use it. Like, I think in the last Star Wars, that's what they do to James Earl James Earl Jones's voice is they just cloned it, because his throat was hurting or something, or so I've heard.
Right.
So we're not that far off. All right, so that was Micro Machine, a good clean 2-0. We were just flying around through these brackets. Micro Machine eating it up, the competition, getting a little bit of retribution for his Shark Bot battle, but onwards to, and this wasn't done purposely, that we have Aerys last, but it's good that it's the anchor of the day because this is gonna be interesting. Clickia. I don't know. Clickia. I don't know if we're gonna see. Wait, who took Aerys down here again? Was it
It was Zozo.
Zozo of all the bots.
Yeah, with just the zealot rep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Aerys is a veteran, and Clickia is new, but you know, we'll see. We'll
New and
see.
exciting.
And new and exciting.
New exciting Portuguese.
Reactive above question sucks. Just because a bot is not using machine learning doesn't make it hard coded.
It's true.
I'm actually working on a video on that too, asking if that's the truth.
Well, it is.
Long-term cost effectiveness in some matchups. That's a weakness. Special, generic, not hard-coded. Once again, emphasized. Solutions allow reactive play to various scenarios. And additional. Perfect. And then Clickia makes roaches against zergs, which is lucky you're up against a zerg, and random make lings against Protoss, make lings, and hydras against Terran. Okay, legit. Weak against cannon rush, invisible banshees, because non-invisible. Can't break planetary fortress. Don't worry, neither can I.
Yeah.
So you're lucky you're not up against Ketroc. Made with the Aerys framework using the Queen framework. I wonder if that's like the Queen. Like the Queen, because I know Aerys has like a Queen bot, so I wonder if that means like use the template, maybe. And then you can get this bot. It's open sourced, which is good. I highly recommend. Like, good on you for making your bot available. There was a time when a lot of people made their bots open source and available, but I think Micro Machine started the trend of closing that down because it just
because of what happened last week.
Yes, because of what happened. Exactly because of what happened last week. So
yeah, it makes you vulnerable to that code sniping. That if someone sees
what you're doing, yeah, they'll exploit it. So Oceanborn Gresvan and Equilibrium. Game 3 on Equilibrium if we get to son. ZVZ. Now in my human matchup, I actually disliked ZVZ the most. But bots, I actually don't mind it.
Yeah, it's well, it takes away one of the main things that's super ridiculously hard in human ZVZ is like Ling Baneling clusters of individual control, and like it's a nightmare for people. It's like people describe ZVZ as like a knife fight. But with bots, with control and splitting being perfect, it's very, very different. Like you don't do that thing where you get a group of lings and one baneling and you run the baneling forward and then they retreat and scatter, and that's just a totally different game when it comes to bots.
And it's a game I like to watch. So let's see if we're going to see that in this game.
Aerys. Clickia.
So I actually would like to hear your thought on this, because I actually did a little bit of research on this, because specifically to Team Aerys's point about it, just because it's not machine learned, it's not hard coded. I mean, then what is it if it's not hard coded? Because I think everything pretty much, if it's not machine learned, it would fall into a hard coded. It doesn't mean it's like simple, but I still mean it's hard coded, isn't it?
Not really, because it's the idea is hard coded. When we originally said hard coded, we meant literally like programming in a build order.
Yes.
So like there are conditions that must be met before you do something, and it will do them in a predictable way.
Sure.
Whereas things don't have to be machine learning to be not completely deterministic or set out. So something you can make in a non-machine learning bot, something that still goes and scouts, uses that information to then make decisions, then adjusts its decisions based on what it sees, what it loses, what it kills. Like, so to call that hard coded, it could end up being a bunch of different things. It's not a predetermined path. It will adapt to what it's
Yeah,
seeing.
I guess maybe that's the definition of hard coded. That is, because to me, when I think hard coded, it means that it can't be changed without its author's input. So an author cannot come back, like without
Yeah.
the author coming back in and changing the code and re-uploading the code, the bot will stay the same.
But that's true for most machine learning too.
Mm.
So actually, I think all machine learning that we would have for this, even on like a high level like AlphaStar, wasn't, while it's a reinforcement learning style bot, it wasn't learning in the game it was playing. Like it was coded to that point, and then you basically lock it down and say that's my release. It's not then still learning. You have to reiterate to have it learn. So yeah, you train it as a reinforcement bot with a bunch of samples, but then at some point you have to lock it and say that's the one in production.
So even a machine learned bot would still be. So then, in many ways, then there isn't that much difference than say, like an AlphaStar and even like a T-Bone in many ways, because they're just a version. It's just the degrees of machine learned.
Yeah,
in
and I
many
think
ways.
everything's to a degree too, because again, even when we say something like, you know, a machine learning bot like can make different decisions and adapt and stuff.
Yeah.
It does, but then depending on the level of complexity, while we often consider it a black box, it's not totally. You can parse through it given enough time to figure out why it's doing what at any given time. And particularly easy ones, like if you're using like a decision tree bot or a random forest bot or whatever, you can back out and see what the weightings are. You can basically take even though there's 500 trees of potential decisions, you can take a specific instance and trace it through and be like, oh, okay, that's why it did that.
Mm.
As it gets more complex, like, a large language model or something crazy,
Becomes harder
you
to
can't,
follow.
yeah, you feasibly cannot do that, but in theory you can do
Could do that, right?
So yeah,
Well, like
so,
another bot could technically be able to do it, but a human would have a difficulty.
yeah,
Interesting.
and you can just put in blur too. So like, a language model has some probability to it, so
Mm.
that it will give natural variance, and you can have that in a lot of things too.
Yeah.
But even then, you have to tell it basically to do that. So yeah, it's not completely deterministic, but in the end, it still is. It's doing what you said on the probability. So first
The
roach
genius
attack
coming in.
here, yeah,
He's coming in deep though.
yeah.
A
Trying to
little
go
aggressive.
for workers, but the burrow is going to save him here. I think had he done a swing by and got some drones, that could have been interesting, but is going to get trapped in the back.
Oh, this is not an ideal position. Now, I'm wondering if he's trying to. Where is he trying to go specifically? That was a really rough attack. I
did
like it.
Feel like he was trying to swing to the workers and see if
Yeah,
he could shot them.
Like I'm
Which
giving
is-
him an A for like the attempt. I like the idea that you're coming at Aerys. I think it's rare for people to come at Aerys first. Usually people wait till Aerys comes and swings into them. But this is an aggressive attack, not very effective. I do like the idea of going for the drones, try to pinch Aerys off. But unfortunately, he was just ready. Like he's here on defense. He has the queens. He has the roaches ready for you. And the thing is, you have to be aggressive. Aerys is greedy. He's a very, very greedy bot. And it's unfortunately, though, it usually has responses from people who come after it. So
Yeah, and there the response was not only more troops, but burrow.
Mm.
So you kind of do that dive for the drones, and then they just burrow underneath, and now you're behind everything.
Yeah, these bios are
trapped.
going to make it pretty rough, if not impossible. Nope, impossible.
Yeah, clearing him out. And he's got these spores in front too. I'm not totally sure whether that's maybe a response to knowing his opponent was going to get burrow, but that's kind of odd because they're not in the mineral line like they were protecting against air or something.
Yeah.
I think they're there literally for the burrow detection.
That is a little odd. I actually don't know, but maybe because he probably sensed it is a ZVZ.
Yeah.
Oh, is
And you
he?
can
Is
see
he?
them useful because he was able to see a couple of those until these two that are further out.
Yeah.
So I kind of get the sense they are there, particularly to stop this.
I like it.
One couple still burrowed in here, but Aerys, of course, building up army supply. And another little run by on the side. And you could definitely see, like, had the drones not been able to burrow, a lot of them would be dead. It wouldn't be enough to matter, because one thing about when you're trying to kill your enemies' workers is if you're not making your own, then you
Yeah.
already have to kill a lot just to get to even.
Yeah.
So you got to take that into consideration. Like, realistically, on that first pass, it was going to be like, can you kill like 20 of these? Because if it's not 20, you're behind.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make it. You're gonna have to make it worth it. Like, you're gonna have to get that payoff and more so, especially if you're coming in with a deep, heavy run. And I would like to have seen more expansions from this. We're sitting on 2 bases, and this is not feeling like a W from that. Like, this is, what are we looking at here in terms of drones? We're looking at 25 workers. Yeah, this is an L. So I'm gonna. Well, we'll see what Aerys is. There's still a chance. Who knows? Maybe Aerys will just collapse into itself like a star.
Possible. Just too much gravity. All these roaches, supply heavy and dense.
Thick.
Yeah,
There's 6 C's.
exactly. This creates a Schwarzschild's radius. Yeah, Clickia still on the offense enough to keep Aerys on her side of the map, but I feel like that will eventually tick down.
I mean, I wonder why we're not seeing a bit more drones. I wonder if like Clickia is designed to like win by this point or it's done. Like,
I think so. Or yeah, particularly if this is an attempt to, you almost get the impression it must be something that he's been doing for a while, because it feels like Aerys may be coded against it with those spores. So if it's something that they've seen from each other, and so this is kind of the plan.
It was the plan all
Yeah,
along.
yeah, and I know that you're probably not going to win, your macro game against Aerys. So, yeah, again, it's a matter of, are you going to program in a second and third gear to this attack? Or
The
are you
idea
just
that
gonna
if you,
accept-
if this didn't work, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means we can give it a good fast forward.
Yeah, it won't be too long now. The nice routes around. Sometime Aerys never gets to go up to high units simply because the low ones never die.
Sounds like a poem. In the end, it doesn't even matter.
That was one of my favorite poems, late night, early 2000s. That was one of the best-selling albums of poems.
Listen, I bought the poem.
Yeah.
It just so happened to come on a CD.
I really like the poem remixes they did with Jay-Z.
I like them too. I listened to them this past summer on a road trip. It was really good.
I think the poem Numb Encore is one of the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been used to promote so many movies.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's been like the song for the trailer of like many, many films.
Can't think of one right now, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that. All right, so that was game 1. Aerys taking it pretty strongly, and we'll have to find out. Grezvan, we're going to Mr. Grezvan. Oh, well, maybe we'll see if our maps will change. Nope. All right, so Clickia, Aerys. Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
I think it was called Collision Course. the mashup CD.
I thought it was called
Oh,
Remix though. Wasn't it just called Reanimation? Or is that something else?
that sounds
Reanimation.
like something else. I thought it was
Oh, that's a different.
yeah, Linkin
That's a
Park
different.
Jay-Z Collision Course or
It is
something.
so the other one I like is Linkin Park Reanimation. But let's get into this next game. Hopefully,
Aerys. Clickia.
I mean, I think it's worth pointing out that Aerys is a cat and Clickia is a mouse. Like, I don't know.
True.
I don't know if
That's
this is like.
good point. I don't know how Aerys became a cat because it used to be just the picture of the planet, I think.
No, that was Phobos.
Oh,
Phobos.
is that Phobos did that?
Phobos
Yeah,
is
okay.
Phobos was the picture of the planet.
Yeah.
Aerys has
Well,
always been a
Phobos-
cat.
Well, Phobos is a moon, but Aerys was the dwarf planet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
Phobos.
maybe right.
Phobos was the first time he introduced a planetary body into the,
Yeah,
into it.
Hybrid theory. Yeah, that's the name of the normal Linkin Park CD.
Hmm.
And I think
That was like the most popular, whatever. I think.
I
Hybrid
think it's
Theory?
one of the most popular albums of all time.
Oh snap! Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think it's something ridiculous, like sold 20 million copies.
Probably, I would believe it. I had one.
I think
Oh.
it was that tail end of people buying copies of anything.
I think because like iTunes came out shortly, maybe a year or so after.
That would have been like Napster time. too.
Yeah,
Like that would have been a couple years.
I was a LimeWire kind of guy.
Yeah. Same.
I remember.
The university I was at had like a intranet, like a thing
Oh my
everyone could
God.
join. So if you lived on campus, everyone was just connected. So people would dump movies and music.
What was that? Is it Winamps with the llamas?
Yeah.
Whip the llamas. Oh my God, what does it go? How does it go again? When you boot it up, it's like Winamps whips the llama's ass. Is that what it is?
Maybe that doesn't ring a bell. I remember Winamp. I definitely used Winamp.
when
But,
you would boot it up, it would like say like a weird. Oh my God, maybe let me see if I can find
Maybe.
this now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Winamp,
does. I knew
yeah,
it. Okay.
really whips the llama's ass. Okay.
All right. I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I recall that, but
I think you can
Right?
turn it off. You can turn it off, I think.
yeah, I may have done so. There's certain sounds from that era that are burned in my mind. The ICQ notifications, yeah, are definitely all in my mind.
Yeah. Dyson is confirming. Oh, what did I just do? Uh-oh. Did I just click something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Things running around scouting what Clickia is up to.
Oh, it was a bot. Our bot was maybe, oh, it was the word ass. Oh, poor bot. This bot might be a little aggressive. Sorry, I was talking about in our chat. I think our chat bot was a little aggressive on Dyson. I was like, oh. I'll have to look into that a bit later because of llama's asses. All right, so Clickia, how are we looking here? Well, we're bunching up, which is nice.
Yeah,
I like
grouped
that.
up well. So we'll see how this initial attack goes. Again, I think he is aware of it. So he's getting his own burrow on Aerys' side. Clickia making his way across the map. There's kind of queens in position and some forces. And see, yeah, he's starting the spores yet again. So I think it is
It's a response.
quite aware.
Yeah, it's a response.
Yeah, quite aware of what they're doing. And here comes the initial attack. See where it goes. Yeah, just a lot of queens, lings, and roaches. Getting one queen there. I think that's potentially a better target. And yeah, picking off some roaches, but just kind of as he goes in, gets kind of enveloped from behind. There's not enough dying, and like
Yeah.
everything just collapses on that one position to take it all out.
This is a very difficult position to try to go in. Like maybe if it ran straight up to the main, forcing him to follow it after. But with the burrow, like I think you're right. I actually almost am positive that this was prepared for Clickia in specific, or Zurich bots in general. But it certainly is a response.
Yeah, it's such a calculated thing. Like that, you have to just know your opponent's getting the burrow.
Yeah.
In order to do this, or else you'd build almost anything. And the positioning of it too. It's not. It's meant to just play
It's in the
this
front
really
too.
big up
Yeah.
down zone. Yeah. And it covers really well where he's got each of them.
Very well done. But it's to be expected from Aerys. Like that is I think a pretty classic Aerys move to anticipate your opponent and just be prepared. And this is the problem with Aerys for other bot makers, is that he has such good responses. And like you want to attack early. Aerys is greedy. So you want to be there and you want to be early in there and just be aggressive. But Aerys has responses, really good responses to all its early attacks. And this makes it problematic to just, I don't know. I actually don't really know the good response to Aerys, because I personally would, like if I'm at this level, I would be going for the aggression. But like, how do you go get around this? Like, I don't know what the correct response would have been. That, like, I think Clickia's response was a good response. I think it was a good response. It's just Aerys's answer to that is just better.
Yeah, it's just the macros a lot, but it's like when you kind of roach rush and you get there and your opponent just has more already, it's hard to do much with that. Like you're trying to fight with the same basic tools.
And that's how we get with a lot of bots they just end up just going a macro game against, because they don't feel confident going against Aerys on the early game, right? And so that's how we get like the Ketroc, the BenBot, these kind of more passive responses, because they err on the side of going for the long game against someone like an Aerys, because they don't feel confident hitting up the early game.
Yeah, I think so.
Because like if you crash into an Aerys like we've just seen Clickia now Aerys is going to get ready and just steamroll you. Now, I question if it would have been a good idea to maybe expand behind this. I feel like that is a possibility. Like, I don't know if I am in the camp where I'm like, you know what, you lost that battle and then that's it. You are right, though, that you'd have to do a lot of damage, but, you know...
I think you're to the point that you're fighting against one of the... generically, that's more of a thing that you could potentially do, but I think it's a matter of, if you know you're fighting Aerys in particular, if you've lost any step, it's over anyway. Whereas, more generically, maybe that works to have a second gear. To be like, I did some damage and now I just got to transition and whatever. But yeah, it's better.
I think we're good to fast forward, because I'm seeing 4 bases to 2, so, and 25 workers. Yeah, so. Well, I like it. Aerys in fine form. It makes you wonder how Zozo just pounced on Aerys of all creatures. But we might find out. My Aerys is coming back up, coming back into the, the round of 8. And everyone has an update.
Yeah, I think that'll help with some as well.
Here we go. And
yeah, definitely would have been surprised if Aerys had lost 2 in a row. But we'll have to, go back and code something to could potentially get a lot safer in the early part.
There we have it, folks. Oh, we're a little bit of replays. Yeah, you know what? And this is tough. Even the spore crawler and the burrow uh makes it for a problematic situation. I'm wondering if you could game theory Aerys on this, where you're like, okay, Aerys is going to respond to my response, so I'm actually going to do something different, right? Like, I don't know if, like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, how do you beat this? How if you're Clickagenia's author, right? And you're like, I'm going up in Aerys knows I'm going to do this. Do I go straight to Ravagers? You know, do you rush to Ravagers and do that same rush, but like do Ravagers instead? And like, I don't know, target the spores.
Yeah, that's it. Like you target the spores for what kind of?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. Because then
they're only there
for the roaches.
Yeah. So like they're not really anything, and then I think the rest of the army would move from them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of there's maybe a road you could go down where like each step is designed to force a response from Aerys. But behind I think the thing is, in a lot of people, you'd force the response to slow their economy down.
Yeah.
In Aerys's case, it's doing that with 4 bases.
Right. You could get him to over respond and consume, you could you're right, because he's doing it 4 bases. Then I'm wondering, like, maybe you attack the more vulnerable bases because,
people get caught doing that too. So I think you potentially could. So if you put pressure on the 3rd, the 4th, maybe you could take that out. But Aerys almost, in a lot of cases, seems to rely on that being the strategy. I think when we've seen Aerys go down early, it is an attack at the natural into the main with an overwhelming force. But I think it's harder to do that when you're a ZVZ, when you're like the same race,
right?
Because you can't come at it asymmetrically.
Yeah,
it's symmetric, and then Aerys is it has a defender's advantage because of queens.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, and then it's on its own side, so it takes time. So right away, it's going to beat you. I think you have to. The other thing is you've got to, like, the few times that we've seen Aerys lose to something early, it's either like adepts that just pull it apart, which is what -0 used to do, or something we saw Zozo do where it's just a brute force of zealots, and it just doesn't have the right thing to deal with that. But yeah, when you're the same race, like, what do you do?
And I really miss a -0, man.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, and even that took like a tremendous effort. Like Aerys lost like 15 minutes of attrition die to the adepts, like, because they were just constant doing it. Whereas in this, like, what do you do that is going to work? Because no matter what you produce, Aerys can produce the same or more on its own side of the map, and then with a bigger economy. So
it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. Like, even I might have to chew on that a little bit, because Aerys, the idea, I think Clickagenia had the right idea. I think there is a strong merit, and I'm defending it because I think that's what I would have made as a choice, is that Clickagenia had the idea of coming in and attacking early, and attacking hopefully with an overwhelming force at the time with Burrow. That's like the idea, and the response is from Aerys a hard counter of a spore, and burrowing the prize, which is the drones, because like that's what you're expecting your opponent to come for. It's not to kill your army. He obviously knows that you're not coming to kill my army, you're coming to kill my drones, and that's ready for it. So I don't know, like, I don't know what, like you said, it's a mirror match. Maybe you do Ling Flood instead. Maybe that's more effective. But I don't know, with the queens there, that's a little problematic. So
yeah, I could see the Ling Flood, particularly again, maybe abusing the fact that there's more than one, like that there's multiple bases, Ling flooding from one to the other and just outrunning everything.
Yeah,
maybe the way to go, but it's
and maybe doing like a run bys, right? A couple run bys, going for the 4th base and then to the 3rd base, and then just keeping
Yeah, something
Aerys
like that.
contained on those bases. Perhaps, I don't know. That might be.
Yeah. You're also running into you want to get damage done, but you're running into the counter burrow
Yeah.
where he just burrows lings when you come in,
Well, you
or
just
burrows
destroy the
drones when you
hatchery. And if
come
you
in.
just destroy the hatcheries, go straight for the
Yeah.
snipe the hatcheries and then run off.
Yeah. If you
I would
can.
probably.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
can. If you can.
that would take a little while longer,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But you could theoretically.
Yeah. Well, that was today. That was really good games in terms of what we saw. No, I guess one upset did we? Where did
Ketroc.
Ketroc?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take a. If you can actually show us production, our brackets for this week. Obviously, we don't have next week's ready yet, so we'll have to see what this week's is. But if we take a look, what we're seeing here, we could pretty much predict what we're gonna get. We're gonna get Tier, Sharkbot, 12 Pool Bot, Micro Machine, Zozo, Xena, BenBotBC, and Aerys in the top 8, coming out hot.
Indeed. So yeah, some there out of there. I think Ketroc going out, obviously the most surprising.
Yeah,
That's the only one. Like if you look through this 8, the only new bot now to make it to the round of 8 is 12 Pool Bot, and it's like it's a simple one, but it's simple. Despite being simple, there's just enough layers to it that it's posed a problem.
and for a lot of people, Ketroc, T-Bone, so far Tier is the only one who's sort of had a handed
clean.
time with 12. Yeah, clean 2-0.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm interested to see because there's an update. So there's a time for 12 Pool, and I have a feeling 12 Pool Bot author is not going to take that opportunity, but you don't never know.
Not. The only thing, if I was given 12 Pool Bot any advice, is maybe remove the 12 Pool part. Because so far it has not won a game using the 12 Pool part, and it's only won using the Roach Rush.
Well, maybe so it said it in the beginning. It's like it's only good versus ZVC.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're up against Xena, perhaps if you're up against, and actually no, Xena. Like, if you're up against Aerys, maybe. But
yeah, maybe.
But others, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. If you're going up with any other bot, just go straight to the roaches. Forget the links. But yeah, that's our next week round of 8, and then we'll hopefully have the humans versus ProBots next update ready for people to play against. So even though Ketroc did not make it into this one, I think we'll probably, if assuming we're able to get him, if we don't have enough submissions, get him in there anyways, so that we have a lot of bots for you all to play. So I know you guys like to play it, and Ketroc seems like he has something interesting in the play for it. Who doesn't want to see more humans versus ProBots? I do, personally. Absolutely. Well, that was our show today, and as always, let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we end this show. So if you like what you see, and I hope you did, I hope you like to see all these different production stuff we've done, our new bar down there and the map stuff, all that stuff, that all is made by viewers like you. There isn't any secret cabal funding us, even though I wish there was. So it's all the powers that come from you guys.
Let's talk to the Saudis.
Well, I guess if we were at EWC, you can see as we're not here. And Discord, you're not in Saudi Arabia. I am not in Saudi Arabia. We're just here. So we don't have that Prince money, unfortunately. So the only way that we stay afloat is your Prince money. If you are a Saudi Prince, hit me up. I'm just kidding. But for sure, !join, become a member, and you can we're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to help you improve your bot. If you want to be a bot author, or if you're actually already a bot author, you just want to just get a lot of the different, you actually want to do a lot of serious working on your bot. We do a demo day. We do a pair programming, mob programming on Mondays. That's if you just want an easy entry. And I'm working on some challenges. We do a challenge right after ProBots. So different things for you to work on your bots. There's new things that are coming out down the pipeline. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. And it also supports more content like this. And then also AIarena.net. These guys have been our partners for thick and thin, and this is where a lot of the bots come from. This is where all the bots come from, really. There's no other place for you to get there. AIarena.net, a really great place for you to put your bot on the ladder, engaging your community of people on their Discord. Really helpful if you're starting out and you need a little bit of advice. And if you can't really make it into our membership, there's a really good place, free resource for you to ask for questions. Really good people, a lot of fun. And then ProBotsAI.com. Actually, I have resources there for you. Template. There's a template. I've actually just fixed it. I fixed it this week. So it was broken. I didn't know it was broken. Someone pointed it out. And it actually wasn't broken. It's dependencies. Its dependencies were outdated, and I updated the dependencies. And so now it's working.
Dependence.
Always the dependencies, those crazy dependencies. Yeah, you can get it in the description below. So if you're watching the VOD, hit the description. It's in there. And you can get yourself you can start yourself with a really easy bot. And when you're ready, it can upgrade it to the Aerys framework. So that's essentially what Aerys uses. So you're on the right track. Wow. That's the show. And that's all our, I think I've hit all our sponsor marks. Absolutely.
Right.
Excellent. So I will see you here. If you've already hit subscribe, you'll get a notification for the next episode. If not, come back here 7:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel. I'll see you next. Well, interesting. Anything to say before we leave?
No, I'm good.
No,
Yeah,
you
we
didn't.
had a good time.
I thought you were gonna say go ninja, go ninja, go. Oh, you ruined it. That was the opportunity.
Ninja Mouse has got moves like light.
There you go. We'll end it on that. See you guys next week.